All right, welcome everyone to Life Changing Wellness, and thank you for tuning in today. We are live every day at 12 noon Central Time on Twitter and Periscope, and be sure to follow us here on Twitter at Dr. Ward Bond TV, and you can watch the replay of the shows on Twitter and Periscope, as well as our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Dr. Ward Bond. Well, I'm going to start today's program off with a news item because many of you may have seen the news yesterday about a 69-year-old great-grandmother arrested at Disney World, of all places, the happiest place on earth, by having simply CBD oil in her purse with a doctor's note. So I want to cover today CBD, the benefits, the legalities of CBD, the differences of the CBD products out there, and what you're trying to hopefully find the right one. So today's program is brought to you by one of my great sponsors, Herbal Ultra, which has a variety of products such as Paractin and Bergamonte, and they even have CBD, which is one reason why I'm going to bring you a lot of information that I've learned to go from the farm to the bottle. So check out herbalultra.com. I've known them for quite a long time. They carry clinical, high-quality products for a number of health issues. So let's get back to the 69-year-old woman arrested at Disney World and for having CBD oil in her purse. So they state that she spent 12 hours in jail, had to post a $2,000 bond. She actually started using the CBD oil for arthritis after her own doctor recommended. So kudos to that doctor. And she even had a note from the medical from her doctor in her purse at the time of the arrest, but the sheriff's department said that didn't matter, and there's a reason why, and I'm going to explain that. So the great-grandmother told Fox that she was planning this trip for 2 years, saved up all her money, but she has bad arthritis in her legs, in her arms, and her shoulder. She uses the CBD oil for pain because it helps her. So when she was stopped by security outside of the Magic Kingdom, she was arrested, and she quotes, "I've never had one speeding ticket in my entire life." Well, despite that fact, it's sold on store shelves across the state of Florida. CBD oil is technically illegal in the state of Florida unless the user has a prescription or the company can prove a chemical analysis of the content of the THC to make sure that it's below 0.03 or does not exceed 0.03%. So this has created a confusing situation, not only in the Sunshine State, but across all 50 states of companies selling CBD oil. A lot of states don't know what to do. The federal government hasn't been a big help either. So the great-grandmother's attorney she was livid, to say the least. She says that a little drop of oil with CBD is a felony in the state of Florida. But you can have up to 19.9 grams of marijuana to roll joints all you want. That's only a first-degree misdemeanor. So it's easier to get caught with a bag of weed than it is with CBD oil in the state of Florida, apparently. So the sheriff's office, the Orange County Sheriff's Office, told Fox that the deputy was just following the law. So you can't fault him for that. He was just following whatever's out there. And, of course, there's a lot of stupid laws on the book, and eventually we'll get them all taken care of, hopefully. But in a statement provided by the lawyer for this great-grandmother, I'm not going to mention her name. I know it's in the news, but here I'm not going to embarrass anybody. So the lawyer states, "I'm very disappointed with the Orange County Sheriff's Department and how they handled the situation. But she understands that the sheriff supported his deputies, which is what he should do, but using the resources for a CBD oil arrest of a 69-year-old woman when they don't do anything about the CBD oil sold at gas stations and health food stores and drug stores that are selling it to the open public, but that's not entirely true. They're already doing raids in the state of Florida at these gas stations and health food stores, and these companies have to prove a chemical analysis of their product to prevent it from being raided. I talked to one of my colleagues last night about this, and they have to provide a chemical analysis for their product. So when a bunch of CBD oil is confiscated or raided at a store in Florida, theirs isn't touched because the state already knows that that product is okay because it's following the law. Uh, so in this case, we have a 69-year-old great-grandmother arrested for having CBD oil in her purse despite having a doctor's note. It's kind of like going to school and have to prove to the principal that you were sick the day that you missed. But this is kind of getting ludicrous, but I understand there's tons of confusion. So what I want to do today is I want to talk about the benefits of CBD oil. I want to talk about the positive benefits, why it's become oh gosh, I don't even know what to call it. It's been so big. It's almost like the Avengers Endgame, being so daggum popular. I mean, I get 50 to 100 emails a day on CBD products alone. That's how big this is. I mean, this has been bigger than when ginkgo biloba hit the market 30-something years ago to help with memory. But CBD has created a problem because we have marijuana, we have hemp, we have the federal government stepping in, we have the states have no clue what they're doing with all of this. Colorado has legalized the marijuana, Washington, D.C., Washington State, and other states, I think California. So it's creating a problem because when they mention the term CBD, where's the CBD coming from? So that's what we have to know. So again, I'm going to explain and try to clarify some of this today. And so there's many CBD oils on the market. So let's look at the structure of CBD. Let's start with the structure. So the federal government actually has it patented. So, which normally for the natural health industry, this is extremely leery regarding that the government has a say about the benefits of herbs and nutrients, which I kind of agree. I do agree with that. The government should stay out of all of that. I mean, there's even herbs and nutrients that are considered illegal here in this country, which show great promise in clinical settings that we should look at of making them over the counter. And I'm going to cover some of those in upcoming shows. So let's look at this case. So the federal government, this is the wording from the federal government regarding CBD. CBD has been found to have antioxidant properties. This makes CBD useful in the treatment of a wide variety of oxidation-associated diseases, such as ischemic, age-related, inflammatory, and autoimmune diseases. That's what the U.S. government has to say about it. So if you're dealing with chronic pain, and for some of you, you've been dealing with it for so long that all you know is a life of pain, you have no clue what being pain-free is. So I applaud the properties of CBD helping people relieve chronic pain. Now, the researchers think that CBD interacts with the receptors in your brain and your immune system, and these receptors are tiny proteins attached to your cells that receive chemical signals from different stimuli and help your cells respond. So this creates anti-inflammatory and pain-killing effects that help with pain management. This means that CBD benefits people with chronic pain, such as chronic back pain. We have an opioid crisis in this country, people dying of opioid overdose. And this is why CBD needs to be promoted even more. My gosh, I think everybody should know about it by now, but it's still catching on. So we need to find an alternative, and nature always provides the best answer. So CBD is what we call cannabinoid. It's one of over 60 compounds that are called cannabinoids, with some plants actually containing over 450 cannabinoids, as these are found across the plant kingdom. But the human body has an endocannabinoid system that receives and translates signals that it gets from the cannabinoids in the body. So the body produces some of the cannabinoids naturally on its own. And so again, think about the endocannabinoid system. We're actually born with this. That means if you take in hemp oil, any type of CBD product, the endocannabinoid system will receive those cannabinoids. That's the reason why when we take it into our body, we can feel something from it. Maybe relieving pain, calming stressful situations, and helping people sleep. It also improves immune response as well as sleep and pain. So let's look at a 2008 review. It assesses that CBD works to relieve chronic pain. The review looked at studies conducted between the late 1980s and 2007. Based on these reviews, researchers concluded that CBD was effective in overall pain management without adverse side effects. And They also noted that CBD was beneficial in treating insomnia related to chronic pain. Then in 2016, another study published in the National Institutes of Health, which is a great research magazine or a newsletter that you really want to get connected to. They looked at the use of CBD in rats with arthritis. So the researchers applied a CBD gel to the rats for 4 days in a row. They applied a 0.6, 3.1, 6.2, and 62.3 milligrams per day. So the researchers noted that they saw reduced inflammation and overall pain in the rats' affected joints without side effects. So the anti-inflammatory and pain-relieving effects of the CBD gel could hold promise for people with arthritis. So the chronic pain represents an emerging public health issue that I just brought up about the opioid crisis. Everybody's looking for pain meds, especially looking at our aging populations in industrialized nations. Now, think about some of these facts here. In Europe, they have chronic pain of a disabling nature in 1 in 4 elderly persons. In Australia, over half of the older people suffer with chronic pain. Up to 80% of the people in nursing home populations deal with chronic pain. An ABC News poll has indicated that in the United States alone, 19% of adults, that's 38 million adults, have chronic pain. 6%, or 12 million of those people, have used CBD in attempts to treat chronic pain. People are looking for a safer alternative, an alternative with no side effects. Now, I want to kind of bring something up here because CBD has stated that it's great for chronic pain. It's great for sleep. How many of you out there are using things like Tylenol PM? You're using these PM products to relieve pain at night and to help you sleep, which I can completely understand. But how many of you are using those products when you don't have chronic pain and you're using it for sleep? That means you need to change your diet. You need to start changing things in your daily life to get sleep naturally. Those types of products, they've already proved just in the last couple of years that the major ingredient used in those PM products to help people fall asleep leads to an increased risk of dementia and Alzheimer's. That's when you take those products. You wake up the next morning, your head feels heavy and your brain feels numb and you just don't feel good. It's like you're waiting for that to wear off. And sometimes, if you've never used them before, you use them once or twice, what happens? Your head just feels numb all day long. But you're actually creating brain damage by using those things. There's so many other remedies for sleep besides using the PM products. I mean, try kava or passion flower or valerian or hops. California poppy is another herbal compound. CBD that we're talking about today, that is something that you should look into. Here are the benefits of CBD. And I'm going to touch lightly on THC. So for CBD, CBD relieves pain. It reduces anxiety and may reduce depression. Relieves cancer-related symptoms and side effects from the treatment. CBD may reduce acne. May have neuroprotective effects for those with multiple sclerosis, epilepsy, and may help those with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease, and has been shown that it could possibly help lower high blood pressure in a resting phase. Let me stop there. There is not a drug that a doctor prescribes that cures high blood pressure. Not one drug. I don't know if anybody's ever taken a high blood pressure drug, cured their high blood pressure, and they never took the drug ever again. It never happens. You have to look at your diet, find out, are you overweight? Do you have are you taking any type of other medications that could be spiking your blood pressure? Are you under chronic stress? Are your cortisol levels sky high? There's things to do for that. Phosphatidylserine is one of those nutrients. GH3 is one of those nutrients that lowers cortisol at a very, very, within 30 minutes to an hour, lowers cortisol levels naturally. without causing any side effects. So we need to be looking at the things in your diet. So maybe your diet's too high in sodium. Do you realize that the average American consumes 1.2 million milligrams of sodium a year? You need to keep that sodium level low. If you want sodium, eat celery. It's the only type of sodium in food that doesn't damage the cell, doesn't cause water retention, has electrolytes in the food. That's the reason why we want to eat fruits and vegetables. You know, doctors always freak out when they say, oh, don't get too much potassium because that's going to harm you. The only potassium they're referring to is prescription potassium, which doesn't enter the cell like it should. It just stays in the blood, can be built up in the blood and cause problems, and that's what they're looking for. The human body that has healthy kidneys, whenever you eat fruits and vegetables, you can get a vegan can get 5,000 milligrams of potassium a day without any adverse effects, because the body receives the potassium in the body, receives the potassium in the cell where it belongs, gets rid of excess water weight. And if the body doesn't need that much potassium, the kidneys know what to do and get rid of it. We need to understand that the human body is extremely smart. Unfortunately, a lot of us up here aren't using what God gave us, and we start making stupid choices in our diet, and then we end up with a whole host of problems and a lot of diseases that we're trying to correct. But fruits and vegetables are fantastic for the human body when it comes to potassium. So I know I had a friend of mine who had high blood pressure. Nothing worked. Medication didn't work. Fancy nutrients didn't work, except one thing. He increased the potassium from his diet, and his high blood pressure went away. Sometimes it's just what you're eating can cause that problem. But I know that other people have problems with high blood pressure. Look into what you can do to get that blood pressure back to normal, because if you don't keep it under control, you're going to cause kidney damage, and you surely don't want dialysis when you get older. That goes the same for all of you diabetics out there, and I've got a great remedy for diminished kidney function, which we'll talk about urology on another show. Now, the benefits of CBD, before I got on a little tangent there, we're also looking at an antipsychotic effect for CBD. That means that the studies have suggested that CBD can help with schizophrenia and other mental disorders by reducing psychotic symptoms. They're also looking at CBD in helping with substance abuse. So CBD has been shown to modify the circuits in the brain related to drug addiction. They've done studies in rats with CBD to reduce morphine dependence and heroin-seeking behavior. Let me use cocaine for an example. People who are doing lines and lines of cocaine all the time, possibly even crack, it burns up the dopamine receptor sites in the brain. Dopamine is needed for energy and coordination and all sorts of things. If you burn up all your receptors by using cocaine on a daily basis, then you're asking for Parkinson's disease. That's what happens with Parkinson's. The part of the brain, the substantia nigra, which produces dopamine, and then you burn up all your receptors. So the substantia nigra no longer produces dopamine, and then a person has Parkinson's. In this case with cocaine, you're going to burn up the receptors before the substantia nigra portion of the brain stops making dopamine, and now your brain can't use it, and everything goes downhill after that. You know, I think Nancy Reagan was right. Just say no. It's your wisdom. If you value the body that God gave you, treat it as something valuable and treat it right. You know, if you want to have fun, there's a lot more other things to have fun than snorting lines of powder up your nose. Also, CBD has shown anti-tumor effects. This is something that we need to know more about, because CBD has shown in animal models that it could prevent the metastasis of breast, prostate, brain, colon, and lung cancer. And I know a lot of people want to know more about the THC, which a lot of people go to Colorado to get a potent form of the cannabis oil to fight cancer. There have been thousands of cases of cancer cured by pure cannabis oil because of the high THC content. So that's what they need to look at there. Also, in the areas of diabetes prevention, the treatment of by using CBD has reduced the incidence of diabetes by 56%. We have a diabetic epidemic in this country. People need to correct their diet. Sometimes I feel like I'm preaching to you, so forgive me for almost doing a finger pointing thing to some of you, but I want you to be healthy. I want you to be healed. I want you to live life with abundance and vitality and energy. That's why we're created. Some of you have the desires of your heart, but you can't reach the desires of your heart if you're feeling sick and creating disease because of the things that you're eating. So I want to encourage you to eat healthy, to eat those foods that God created. Forget those things that man made. Man seems to screw everything up. So that's probably why they kicked out Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden. So now let's talk about the legalities here a little bit of CBD. So I brought up the news article about the great-grandmother arrested at Disney World. So that poses a problem for many of you, especially if you're in the state of Florida. Okay, so CBD is found in both marijuana and hemp. So when you buy a bottle of CBD oil, you're not really knowing what the source is unless somebody from that company tells you. A lot of stores don't know the sources of their CBD that they're selling. And I'm not talking about the stores like gas stations. If you're going to buy natural products, go to a natural health store. Those people usually stay educated and talk to someone there that knows what they're talking about. So I like to support and promote local natural health stores because they keep up with the current trends and know what a consumer is looking for and what is best for them. So some of the states have laws on their books which look only at the label saying CBD. Companies have to provide a chemical analysis to prevent their products from being confiscated, which I had mentioned at the first part of this show. And this happens in Florida all the time. So there is total confusion between the federal government and the state government. Again, I get numerous emails from CBD companies every single day. It's crazy. But most of the products on the market are considered subpar and are not full spectrum hemp oil. So why would you buy a product that only has one cannabinoid in it versus a full spectrum CBD product from hemp that has 60 or 450 cannabinoids in it? Because you want to get all the benefits, because each cannabinoid may have a slight different function from another. So you want to have a full spectrum whole plant cannabinoid from hemp with the product that you buy. So think about those things. I do know that Herbal Ultra sells and manufactures a full spectrum hemp oil. It goes from the hemp farm directly into extraction in a very natural way, low heat to prevent damaging of the CBD properties into the bottle. I know they have the salve that people use for pain. There's capsules and liquid. So think about that. Give them a call at 1-800-200-4180 or go to herbalultra.com, but you can't buy it online. That poses another legality problem. Many companies cannot sell CBD products online because the bank won't accept payment. Shopify will cancel. Amazon will not sell things labeled CBD. It has to say hemp on the label. So now when you see hemp oil, it's CBD in the bottle. It's just a way of getting it to the marketplace and staying within the law. Now let's talk about a little bit about THC. THC is a property found in marijuana. Pure cannabis oil has high levels of THC. And everybody's using THC for cancer. Again, thousands upon thousands of people have been cured using pure cannabis oil. A lot of people go to Colorado for that oil. Now, some of you may have heard about something called RSO. It stands for Rick Simpson Oil. Rick Simpson created this oil, this pure cannabis oil. And believe it or not, and this is going to when I found this out last night, I was stunned. A bottle of capsules of RSO oil is $4,000. $4,000. But if somebody has cancer, a lot of them will spend that money to get what they need to find a cure for their condition. What I'm going to do after this show is over, I'm going to tweet out a link for you to read more about the RSO oil. And not only that, it tells you in the article the full recipe and the instructions to make it at home. I'm not telling you to go out and go buy a bag of weed. There's a certain strain of marijuana that you have to buy for that. Whatever you do, don't get in trouble. But I understand that when people are fighting cancer, it's a battle, and it is a war that we want to win, a war that I want you to win. So, I agree. You do whatever you have to do to get healed from cancer. So, my prayers to you on that. So again, after this show, I'm going to tweet out the link for you to learn more about Rick Simpson, to learn more about that RSO oil. But that's pretty much our show for today. You can watch the replay of the program on youtube.com/Dr. Bond or Twitter or Periscope. But I want to thank all of my sponsors: Herbal Ultra, Bright Core Nutrition, the makers of Sweet Wheat, Carlson Labs, my favorite fish oil of all time, Mushroom Wisdom, and Pure Essence Labs for all their fine products. If you want to learn more about them, go to drwardbond.com and learn more and more. I have blogs, videos, podcasts. I have a daily television show that airs Monday through Friday at 12 noon Eastern on CTN, on Direct and Dish TV, and various cable markets. You can see the little banner on the screen right now for that. Again, we're live every day, 12 noon Central Standard Time. And let me leave you with this. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you and be gracious to you. And may the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace. I am Dr. Ward Bond. And remember, something spectacular happens when you treat your body right. See you tomorrow.